All right, so now we get into the meat of the grid system, the most important or most exciting part, which is how we can create responsive layouts and shift content around based upon the screen size. So the way that we do this hinges upon the built-in breakpoints in Bootstrap. We briefly talked about these. There are different sizes that have been predefined. So we have small is from 576 pixels up to 768. Anything below 576 is considered extra small. Then we have medium, we have large, and we have extra large, anything greater than 1200 pixels wide. So these are different sizes that are predefined, and we can reference them at any point using the grid system. So I could have a 50-50 split on large and extra large screens, but then on medium, small, and extra small, I might have 12 units and then 12 units. In other words, 2 full rows instead of sharing any space. So there are a bunch of classes that help us do this, and they all use these breakpoint sizes in the class names. So we have things like column-8 we've already seen, but we also have column-small-8 or column-large or medium, and not just -8, but 6 and 4 and every number between 1 and 12. So let me just demonstrate this simple principle. Well, I say simple principle, but I've seen a couple of students confused about this early on. So what I'm going to do is just make a new section here. So I'll put in, what do we have there? That's display 1. So let's do a display 2. And it will just say responsive grid. And then below, I'll add a row. And in this row, I'm going to have 2 elements that are 50-50, so 6 and 6. So I'm going to have a row and then column 6. And then in there, what should we do? Maybe just some lorem ipsum text this time. Okay, let's just see what that looks like. Okay, and then let's get our second one going. I'm just going to copy that. So duplicate the whole thing, just like that. All right. This is a bit large, isn't it? Maybe I should go with display 4. All right, so they're sharing that 12 units, 50-50, 6 and 6. But what if I want maybe on the, what breakpoint would make sense? Maybe the small, maybe the medium breakpoint and below. I want them actually to just go all the way across in their own. And I don't want them to share space. Well, what I can do is use, instead of column 6, column dash, I'll do medium 6. And the way we would read this is after the medium breakpoint and up, you should take up 6 units. Everything below is assumed that you just go all the way across. So you'll see what I mean here. I'm going to shrink all the way down. Take a look. They stack. And then once we hit that medium breakpoint, which is right about here. Nope, I totally am wrong. There it is. Right there, they now take up 6 units of space. So it might be easier if I give a background color to the paragraphs, or to the columns rather. So how about BG info and BG success? Did I misspell success? Yes, I did. Or I misspelled BG. Okay, so now you can see what happens. They stack. They start out stacked on an extra small and small. And then once we get to medium, they take up 6 units each. So we have all these different sizes. Maybe I actually have more than just 2 of these. Maybe I have 3 of them or 4 of them. So why don't I take a look at 4 of them? So right now I'm going to have, 2 and 2 because I said column medium 6. So 6 out of 12, 50% each. But then when we go all the way down, each one goes all the way across. But maybe I want to change this. So, at medium, 2 by 2 is okay. But maybe at large, I want to go larger. I want, I don't know, maybe I want 3 in a row or 4 in a row. Well, I can do that using these different breakpoints. Instead of medium, I can add on another class. Column, let's do extra large. If I want to do 4 across, that would be 3 each. So let's copy that in a couple places. Paste that in, refresh, take a look. We start at extra small. They go all the way across. That's the default assumed state. If you don't specify, which I'm not specifying extra small, I'm not specifying small, I'm specifying medium and above, and then extra large and above, which is just extra large. So here we go. They go all the way across. We hit small, nothing happens. We hit medium, and now they go 50%, 6 and 6, 6 and 6. Then we keep going. Large, nothing changes. We hit extra large. Now they all share a single row horizontally we've got 4, 4, 4, and nope, I can't do math. We have 3, 3, 3, and 3. 4 times 3 adds up to 12. Now, if I overflow that, if I were to say, actually, I only want you to take up 4 units, or I want you to take up 4, not 3, right? There's not going to be enough space for them to fit. So then we end up with 2 rows, and this one takes up 4 units down here. But still, the same principle is applying, where we're going from extra small to medium to large to extra large. And along the way, I can specify sizes however I'd like. But often what we do is, have them get smaller or take up less space as the screen gets wider. It's not that common to have the inverse relationship. Usually on a wider screen, your elements don't need as much room. Versus on a smaller screen, you'll have them take up more units of space across the row. So let's do one more example here. I've actually added in 3 images. I just didn't want to make you watch me copy and paste a bunch of URLs. These are from unsplash.com. So, no, not those images. Here we are. I just searched for bird. These are free images that we can use. Don't have to worry about licensing and all of that. A really great source. We've already used it in the course before, but I always like highlighting this website. So right now, no grid system, nothing fancy involved, no Bootstrap, just 3 images. Now, I'm going to put them in a row, and I'm actually going to use a new class that we have not yet seen for responsive images. It's called Image Fluid, and it's pretty straightforward. It just makes an image scale based upon the size of its containing element. So if we put a fluid image, or image fluid, inside of a column, and that column changes size, the image will change size too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them all these 3 images, class of image-fluid, and then I'm going to put them inside of a row. So I'm going to make my row, and I need each one to be in a column. So I could just start with the basic dot, or just COL, so they're all just equally sized columns, not necessarily responsive in any way, or at least nothing will be changing based upon the screen size. But we can begin with this. So I have 3 columns. There are the 3 images side by side. A quick note, if you are using different images and they're different heights, they're not all going to just magically be the same height in your row. You can change, how your image displays and cut part of it off or stretch it or something like that so that they all are the same height. But I'm just using 3 square images. But we're focusing on the width anyway, the amount of space they take up horizontally. So what I'd like to do is maybe have them go 3 in a row on extra large and large, but then here I think it gets a bit cramped. So maybe I'd like it to go 2 across, and then further down, right about here, I think I'd like it to go just 1 across, probably. We'll play around with that. So remember the way that this works, we have these different breakpoint sizes. So I can do something like column extra large and above. I want each one to take up 4 units, right? Because that should give me 3 in a row. So extra large and above, XL 4. So shrink down, we have all the way across at extra small, small, medium, large, and then we'll hit extra large, and they go to 3 across. So I want something in between there. I'd like for them to go, this is a bit excessive, right? Not quite what we need. Also, I'm hitting the max size of the image, by the way, if you're wondering why it's not getting wider. The images I think I have are like 800 pixels wide. You can actually see in the URL from Unsplash, 800 pixels for W, or for width. But otherwise, they would stretch, or they would expand to fill this entire row. We just don't have that much of an image. So what I'd like to do is, at extra large, 4. At large, so I'm just going to get multiple cursors going by holding Option. Column large and above, I want them to take up 6. I might change that to medium. Let's see. Yeah, because right there, that's where we hit large. But medium is still quite large. That's a bad way of putting it, but it's still excessive. So I'm going to do column medium and above. I want you to be 6. So that gives us 50% across. Let's get there. Here we are, 50, 50. And then we'll hit extra large right there, and then we go to 3 across. So that's pretty good. We do have an odd number, so it looks a bit weird down here. We'll learn a bit more about how we can handle that. Maybe we want this one to be centered, for example. There are utilities we can use, but for now, this is good. So we have full width all the way across on really small screens, or extra small and small. Medium, we go 50%, 6 and 6 units, 6 units. Keep going. and we get to 4 units, 4 units, 4 units based upon that screen width. Okay, now one other thing I'll just mention, you can probably see these gutters here, the spacing. There is a variation of the grid, or of the row rather. If we go to layout, grid, and you look for gutters over here, I'm totally missing it, there it is. We have a class we can add called no gutters if you want to get rid of that. So on our row, no dash gutters, and that will just eliminate that space between. I kind of like having that space though, so I'm not going to use that. All right, so that is our brief intro to the responsive classes for our grid system. Remember, 12 units, we can divvy them up however we want, and we can do that on a breakpoint or per breakpoint basis. So from small and above, I want this, or rather from medium and above, take up 6 units. Actually, from extra large and above, I want 4. So it's always from this breakpoint and above, unless you specify something else. All right, so next up, we've got some grid utilities. We'll learn more about how to center things and what happens about vertical alignment and a whole bunch of other stuff, and we'll get more practice. But this is the core mechanic. These class names might look a little crazy, but they're incredibly useful when we're making our responsive layouts.